The world is changing fast, and some of Asia's most beloved destinations are facing unprecedented challenges. Beneath the surface of bustling markets and breathtaking landscapes, a storm is brewing. Economic turmoil, political instability, and social issues are pushing some nations to a breaking point. In this video, we'll explore 10 Asian countries that experts say could be on the brink of collapse. Let's get started. Our first stop is Sri Lanka, often called the Pearl of the Indian Ocean for its breathtaking beauty and rich cultural heritage. This island nation, with its golden beaches and lush green hills, has long been a symbol of tropical paradise. Once a land of vibrant markets, aromatic spices, and stunning landscapes, Sri Lanka was a thriving hub for both locals and travelers. But today, it faces its worst economic crisis since gaining independence, a crisis that has touched every corner of daily life. Prices for essentials like rice, fuel, and medicine have soared beyond reach for many families. Power cuts now plunge entire neighborhoods into darkness for hours, forcing families to cook by candlelight and children to study in the dim glow. The government's debt default triggered a dramatic currency collapse and rampant inflation, turning everyday necessities into unaffordable luxuries. Supermarket shelves are often empty, and the value of the rupee continues to plummet. Tourism, once the lifeblood of the economy and a source of pride for many Sri Lankans, has dried up almost overnight. Hotels stand empty, beach resorts are deserted, and souvenir shops remain shuttered, leaving thousands without work. Political instability and deepening economic hardship have led to mass protests in the streets. The once thriving middle class is rapidly disappearing as families struggle to make ends meet and uncertainty grows. The roots of this crisis run deep. Years of mismanagement, mounting debt, and sudden policy changes like the abrupt fertilizer ban have devastated agriculture, leaving fields barren and farmers desperate. International aid now offers a glimmer of hope, with food and supplies arriving from abroad. But for many, the path to true recovery remains uncertain and fraught with challenges. For travelers, Sri Lanka is now a landscape marked by scarcity and tension, a stark contrast to the warm hospitality and abundance it once offered. For ordinary Sri Lankans, each day is a struggle for survival, as they face hunger, uncertainty, and the loss of dreams once taken for granted. The paradise I once knew is now fighting for its future, holding on to hope amidst adversity, determined to rise again. Next, we journey to Myanmar, a land of golden pagodas and deep history. The 2021 military coup shattered hopes for democracy, plunging the nation into chaos and conflict. Widespread violence, arbitrary arrests, and internet shutdowns have created an atmosphere of fear. The tourism industry has collapsed, and many guides are now in hiding or struggling to survive. Millions are displaced, facing a massive humanitarian crisis. Most governments warn against travel here. Myanmar is now a no-go zone. The dreams of exploring its ancient temples feel more distant than ever. The international community remains divided, while ordinary people pay the price. Political upheaval has unraveled years of progress. Myanmar's vibrant culture is now overshadowed by fear and uncertainty. We now turn to Afghanistan, a country of breathtaking beauty, where towering mountains and serene lakes paint a picture of natural wonder. Yet beneath this stunning landscape lies a story of immense struggle and pain. For decades, Afghanistan has been overshadowed by relentless conflict, its cities and villages scarred by war and destruction. The Taliban's return to power has only deepened an already dire humanitarian crisis, especially for women and girls. Their rights have been stripped away, and their futures now hang in the balance, hidden behind closed doors. The economy has collapsed, jobs have vanished, and international aid has been slashed. Millions now find themselves on the brink of starvation, with children and families waiting in long lines for a single meal. For travelers, Afghanistan is one of the world's most dangerous places. Kidnapping, terrorism, and shattered infrastructure make visits nearly impossible. The sense of insecurity is ever present, even in daily life. The dream of exploring its ancient cities, once alive with history and culture, is now a distant memory, lost to the shadows of conflict. Markets, once bustling with life, have become places of desperation. People are forced to sell their last possessions, family heirlooms, furniture, even clothing, just to survive another day. Afghanistan is isolated from the world, its government unrecognized, and its people trapped in a cycle of poverty and fear, with little hope for change. The vibrant culture and legendary hospitality that once defined Afghanistan are being crushed by oppression and uncertainty, leaving communities fractured and traditions at risk of fading away. The world watches from afar, but for Afghans, the struggle is deeply personal, lonely, and desperate. Each day is a test of endurance and hope. Prolonged conflict has erased potential, shattered dreams, and inflicted deep wounds, both physical and emotional, on an entire generation. Afghanistan stands as a stark reminder of the cost of war and extremism, a land where resilience is tested every day and hope is a precious, fragile thing. Our journey now takes us to Pakistan, a country of staggering contrasts and immense potential. Behind legendary hospitality, Pakistan faces severe economic and security challenges. Reliant on international bailouts, the country is trapped in debt and inflation, with daily life growing harder for ordinary families. Security threats and political turmoil deter investors and tourists, especially in the stunning northern regions. Volatile politics and power struggles distract from much-needed reforms. Despite a young population and natural beauty, Pakistan's future feels precarious. The resilience of its people is immense, but the nation teeters on the brink. We now venture to North Korea, the world's most isolated country. Travel here is tightly controlled, with every move monitored by government minders. The risks are immense. Detention for minor infractions is a real threat. Chronic food shortages and poverty are hidden behind Pyongyang's facade. The regime pours resources into its military, leaving millions to suffer. Tourism funds the oppressive system, raising ethical dilemmas for visitors. North Korea's collapse is slow and hidden, its future tied to an unpredictable regime. For outsiders, it's a dangerous enigma. For its people, a prison with no escape. Extreme isolation leaves the nation vulnerable to shocks and change. Let's travel now to Laos, Southeast Asia's quiet gem, a country known for its serene landscapes and gentle pace of life. Nestled between mountains and the mighty Mekong River, Laos often escapes the world's attention. Yet beneath its tranquil surface, Laos faces a severe economic crisis, one that is quietly unfolding. The nation is burdened by massive foreign debt, most of it owed to China, which has funded ambitious infrastructure projects. The Lao kip has plummeted in value, causing runaway inflation. Everyday essentials now cost far more, making daily life a struggle for ordinary families who find their savings shrinking and their purchasing power eroded. Tourism, once a vital lifeline for the economy, has not recovered from the pandemic. Many businesses remain shuttered, and once busy streets are now eerily quiet, leaving communities without crucial income. Despite heavy investment, infrastructure remains poor in many areas. Unexploded ordnance from past wars still threatens rural communities, making farming and daily life dangerous for thousands. Laos's collapse is quiet, away from global headlines, a small country caught in the web of debt, economic hardship, and shifting geopolitics, struggling to find its footing. The future of Laos depends on managing its mounting debt and reviving the economy, all while trying to protect its independence and avoid becoming overly reliant on foreign powers. The famous resilience and quiet strength of the Lao people is being tested as never before, as they face uncertainty and hardship with determination. Their gentle way of life, once defined by peace and simplicity, is now tinged with anxiety and hardship as they hope for a brighter future amid these silent struggles. Our next destination is Cambodia, the Kingdom of Wonder. Environmental destruction and rampant illegal logging threaten the nation's rainforests and the Mekong River, lifeblood for millions. Corruption permeates all levels of society, widening the gap between rich and poor and stalling development. Tourism centered on Angkor Wat strains local infrastructure and the ancient temples themselves. The economy's reliance on a few sectors makes it vulnerable to shocks. The Cambodian people have rebuilt from tragedy, but now face insidious threats to their future. The slow collapse of the environment and the effects of corruption risk squandering the nation's potential. Cambodia stands at a crossroads, fighting to preserve its soul and future. We now go to Yemen, home to the world's worst humanitarian crisis. Once rich in history and culture, Yemen is now devastated by a brutal civil war. Airstrikes and ground fighting have destroyed cities, hospitals, and schools. Millions are on the brink of famine, with clean water and healthcare almost non-existent. Malnutrition and disease are rampant, especially among children. For travelers, Yemen is completely off-limits, an active war zone with no functioning tourism. The ancient city of Sana'a, a UNESCO site, has been bombed and its treasures erased. Yemen's collapse is complete, a failed state shattered by war and starvation. Peace remains elusive and hope is scarce. Yemen stands as a horrifying testament to the world's failure to prevent disaster. Our journey takes us to Lebanon, once the Paris of the Middle East. Today, Lebanon faces a total financial and social collapse. The currency has lost nearly all its value, and the banking system has imploded. Over 80% of the population now lives in poverty, with daily life marked by shortages and blackouts. The 2020 Beirut port explosion exposed deep corruption and negligence. The middle class has vanished, and a massive brain drain is underway. The vibrant society and nightlife are shadows of their former selves. Lebanon's potential is being destroyed by decades of mismanagement. It's a heartbreaking case of a nation brought to its knees by corruption. For our final stop, we head to Kazakhstan, Central Asia's resource-rich giant. Once seen as stable, Kazakhstan was rocked by violent unrest in 2022, exposing deep anger over corruption and inequality. The government's tight control and opaque power structures create uncertainty. The economy relies heavily on oil and gas, with wealth unevenly distributed. Political unrest and internet shutdowns have made travel riskier. Kazakhstan's future hangs in the balance. Will it reform or double down on authoritarianism? Its strategic location between Russia and China adds complexity. The direction it takes will shape the region's future. We've journeyed through 10 countries, each with unique beauty and profound struggles. As travelers and global citizens, we can't look away from these realities. True travel means connecting with humanity, acknowledging both beauty and pain. Awareness is the first step toward compassion and responsible action. If you care about the world, subscribe and join the conversation. Let's keep exploring with open eyes and open hearts.